Zamfara State Police Command announced restriction of movements from 8 p.m. to 6 a.m. Zamfara closes mosques, churches and markets for 1 week. Sokoto State Government announces the death of Dr. Garba Nadama. On business, Naira hits 420 per dollar as CBN restates dollar sales. And on the international scene, Nigeria to evacuate over 750 citizens from the U.S. Welcome to Standard Voice Television News. My name is Samira Ibrahim. Now the news in full. Zamfara State Police Command has announced the total closure of Shinkafi Market and warned members of the public against violations. This was announced by the State Commissioner of Police CP Usman Nagago in a press briefing at the Police Command. CP Usman Nagago also announced that the command had impounded 101 vehicles that violated the state government border closure order on COVID-19. The commissioner said, following the presidential order on the restriction of movement from 8 p.m. to 6 a.m., the command has made adequate arrangements to ensure total compliance by all and sundry. According to the commissioner, the restriction of movement will commence from Monday, 4th May 2020. He therefore called on the general public to abide by the order for the safety and well-being of the state. He pledges that the command will deal decisively with erring persons or groups who violate the order. The commissioner said the state government decided to close the Shinkafi market based on COVID-19 related reports from Zamfara north part of the state. He called on members of the public, especially marketers, to exercise patience and cooperate with government and security agencies in their efforts to contain the deadly virus in the state. President Muhammadu Buhari sent condolences to government and people of Zamfara State over the passing of Emir of Kauran Namoda, Alhaji Ahmad Muhammad Asha, describing him as a man of peace who loved his community and nation. The president commiserated with the family, Zamfara State Council of Chiefs, and all associates of the late royal father. He commended his contributions to the state as an accountant and auditor for many years. President Muhammadu Buhari believes the virtues of honesty and generosity sought by the late Emir will always be remembered. He prays that the Almighty God will receive the soul of the departed and comfort his family. It has come to the notice of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC) that fraudsters are calling innocent persons, claiming that they are bank officials, requesting their account and ATM details, that they are eligible to receive federal government palliatives of some money. The EFCC therefore advised the public to disregard any call alleged to be from bank. It's a fraud. It stated that if you are eligible, federal government will just credit your account directly. Zonal Head EFCC Sokoto Alhaji Abdullahi Lawal said the banks have all their customers' details. There's no need to call anyone. People should be aware of these scammers. Governor Bello Muhammad Matawalem Maradon has announced the closure of all markets in the state, as well as the suspension of congregational prayers in mosques and churches across the state. Governor Matawalem made the announcement late Monday night as part of additional measures to curtail the curb and community transmission of COVID-19 in the state. Similarly, he reaffirmed the 8 p.m. to 6 a.m. curfew announced by the federal government, with an additional measure taken on Kauran Namoda local government area, whose curfew is now from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. daily. He said the situation in Kauran Namoda is especially worrisome considering the increased number of people dying of recent in the area, including its paramount monarch. He said the family of the late Emir has been quarantined and fumigation of the palace and major areas of the city has equally been done. Governor Matawale, who said the new measure is for an initial period of 1 week. Lamented the nonchalant attitude of the people to the observance of the simple safety rules of social distancing, use of face masks and hand sanitizers. He said the closure of markets, however, does not affect pharmaceutical shops and supermarkets, but government will ensure that all safety measures are employed before they are allowed to operate. He urged the people to henceforth observe their prayers at home, as it does not negate the teaching of Islam in challenging periods such as we are now in. The governor said at the end of the week his administration will review the effect of the new measures to determine its next line of action. The Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice Abubakar Malami San confirmed the receipt of over $311 million of the Abacha asset repatriated from the U.S. and the bailiwick of Jersey. Malami made the confirmation in a statement issued by Dr. Umar Gondu, his special assistant on media and public relations, on Monday in Abuja. According to Malami, the amount increased from over $308 million US mentioned in the press release issued in February to over $311 million, following the accrued interest from February 3rd to April 28th, when the fund was transferred to the Central Bank of Nigeria. He noted that the litigation process for the return of the assets titled Abacha III commenced in 2014, while the diplomatic process that culminated into the signing of the asset return agreement on February 3rd by the Nigerian government, US and the bailiwick of Jersey commenced in 2018. This agreement is based on international law and cooperation measures that set out the procedures for the repatriation, transfer, deposition, and management of the assets. He said the recovery effort consolidated on the established record of the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari, which has a history of recovery, including that of $322 million from Switzerland in 2018. Sokoto State Government sadly announces the death of second civilian governor of the state, Dr. Garba Nadama, at the age of 87. Dr. Nadama died after a brief illness of natural cause. Also, Sokoto State Governor Aminu Waziri Tambuwal has commiserated with the family of the late politician who passed away on Monday. Governor Aminu Waziri Tambuwal expressed shock and sadness over the death of Dr. Nadama. He said the state government, however, restated solace in Allah, from whom all mankind came and to whom it's their return. Describing the late governor as a dedicated statesman and visionary whose ideas put in the state on the solid foundation, the governor expressed gratitude that during his lifetime he was nonetheless unrelenting in offering wise counsel for the advancement of the state and its people. He prayed to Allah to grant him Al-Jannatul Firdaus and his family the fortitude to bear the irreparable loss. Dr. Nadama, a PhD holder in history from Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria, served as the governor of all Sokoto State from November 1981 to December 1983, having succeeded the late Alhaji Shehu Muhammad Kangiwa, who had died in a polo accident. The federal government of Nigeria has advised medical facilities in the country to stop rejecting patients, especially emergency cases, noting that it is unethical not to attend to persons in distress. Dr. Osagi Ehaniri, Minister of Health, said this on Monday in Abuja at the Presidential Task Force briefing on COVID-19 in the country. The minister said the ministry was strengthening its support for Kano State Ministry of Health with service delivery and training in consultation with the state governor. The setback reported in routine hospital service delivery in Kano State are being addressed by line experts from the ministry, whether from the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency or Department of Family Health. A Federal Ministry of Health pathologist is also participating in the investigation of the unexplained death in Kano. He said the team shall be reinforced according to needs expressed by the state government to strengthen its healthcare structure. As the gradual and paced relaxation of lockdown take full effect Monday, Lagos State, the commercial center of Nigeria, witnessed a large turnout of people. The economic activities on Monday morning started on a low scale at different bus stops in the metropolis, but as time passed by, the number of commuters surged, as well as vehicles plying the routes. The case was the same at Lagos Abeokuta toll gates, Abukule, Abule Aba, Agege, Pagba, Uba, Iyana, Ipaja, and Ikeja. Reports observed that most of those people who came out complied with the directive on the use of nose masks. While few used the disposable surgical type, a whole lot used the locally made one, sewed with different local fabrics. Nasarawa State Governor Engineer Abdullahi Sule has ordered shutting down of the State Assembly following the dismissal of the member representing Nasarawa Central, Alhaji Adamu Suleiman Ibrahim, whose death is linked to coronavirus. Engineer Sule disclosed this while updating the press on the latest COVID-19 status of the state at the Presidential Lodge on Sunday. The governor said the shutting down of the assembly became necessary after the late lawmaker tested positive to COVID-19. He explained that the death of the lawmaker has further complicated situations in the state because the late lawmaker has been part of all sittings of the assembly, even as his burial ceremony was attended by most people who knew his status but apparently failed to take precautions. Director of Defense Information, Major General John Eniche, said while addressing newsmen that Nigerian troops eliminated 134 terrorists and arrested 16 informants in Borno. General Eniche stated this during the monthly Defense Headquarters news conference in Abuja. He said the Nigerian military destroys terrorist hideouts in Borno. Nigerian troops killed many ISWAP leaders in air raid. The troops inflicted heavy casualty on Boko Haram and ISWAP. Multinational Joint Task Force neutralizes fleeing insurgents in Borno State. On business, as Nairametrics previously reported, the Apex Bank informed Nigerians that it will resume the provision of forex to all commercial banks in Nigeria for onward sales to small and medium-scale enterprises and Nigerian students in foreign schools. On Monday, May 4, 2020, the Naira was selling at 430 per US dollar in the parallel market, according to Ibadan Bureau de Change. This marks a significant reduction in the exchange rate when compared to 465 Naira per dollar that was recorded last week. Recall that Naira has been under pressure in recent weeks due to a number of factors including the oil price, demand crisis, Nigeria's depleting foreign reserves, and a growing backlog of dollar demand. However, the Central Bank of Nigeria (CBN) announced last week that it will restart dollar sales to those who urgently need them. And on the international scene, President Muhammadu Buhari on Monday in Abuja said only a collective international approach will mitigate devastating effects on COVID-19, while assuring that the federal government will intensify efforts to monitor, test and isolate more people, especially at the community level. President Muhammadu Buhari, who participated in a virtual summit of head of states and government of the non-aligned movements, said national, regional and global strategies will be required to tackle the pandemic, which he said had ravaged humanity and caused unprecedented devastation to the well-being of the people, their livelihoods and global economy. The theme of this extraordinary summit, United Against COVID-19 Pandemic, aptly reflects the importance for a proactive approach and the need for multilateral cooperation in finding quick solutions to the challenges that COVID-19 pandemic poses to our nations. Since the outbreak of the disease, countries have made concerted efforts to limit the spread of the pandemic within and outside their borders, as well as treating those infected by the virus. 2 weeks ago, the West Africa came together to work out a common sub-regional response to the crisis. He said the summit appointed him the champion to lead the effort on fighting the pandemic in the region. The president said the task before the international community remains daunting and more needs to be done to reduce the impact of COVID-19. Still on the international scene, evacuation of Nigerians stranded in U.S. due to the novel coronavirus pandemic is to begin on May 10th, according to the Consulate General of Nigeria in New York. The Consulate General disclosed this in a notice signed by the Consul General Binayoga Okoye on behalf of the Nigerian missions in the U.S. on Sunday. According to the notice, no fewer than 700 Nigerians have registered with the missions in the U.S. for evacuation, which will be done in batches. It said that the first batch of 270 evacuees will be transported to Abuja through an Ethiopian Airlines flight ET-509. The plane is expected to depart the New York Liberty International Airport in New Jersey at 9:15 a.m. and fly directly to the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja. As earlier announced by the federal government, the flight is at the expense of evacuees, who will all fly economy classes according to the notice. That has been the news from Standard Voice Television. To end the news, a quick look at the major headlines. Zamfara State Police Command announced restriction of movement from 8 p.m. to 6 a.m. Zamfara closes mosques, churches and markets for 1 week. Sokoto State Government announces the death of Dr. Garba Nadama. On business, Naira hits 420 per dollar as CBN restricts dollar sales. And in the international scene, Nigeria to evacuate over 700 of its citizens from US. That's the news. On behalf of the production crew, Head of News and Current Affairs Department, Alhaji Ibrahim Garba, I'm Samia Ibrahim, wishing you a pleasant day. Keep watching Standard West Television News. Goodbye.